welcome to Check Out This Guy. This is the podcast where we are putting items in our inventory, parentheses, captcha log, I think, is the made-up word for that. And looking at our inventory, there's just a bunch of guys in there. I don't know how to get them out, though, because this inventory system is very complicated. I'm Emery, my pronouns are they, she, he.
Hi, I'm Izzy. My pronouns are she or he, and we're going to talk about something that I have no clue about, except for two things.
Yeah, we're podcasting under duress this week. Patrick is here. He is making us learn about Homestuck. Hi.
A young man sits at his desk. It just so happens that today, the 3rd of December, is a day to celebrate. Though it is the second time he has been on this podcast, it is only today he will be given the opportunity to tell you about Homestuck. What will this man's name be?
Patrick.
Your name is Patrick. As was previously mentioned, you are here to talk about Homestuck. You have a variety of qualifications. You spent a number of years on the MSPA forums and have fond memories of the place. You own every Homestuck book except one, a failure that will always haunt you. You know all the lore. You also like to make up guys sometimes. What will you do?
Yeah, so clearly Patrick is the most qualified guest to delve into this topic with us. What other guest would have written a Homestuck monologue as a means of introduction? We're really in for it, folks. We're really in trouble.
Wait until you get to my notes.
Oh God!
Notes.
So Patrick, hello. I don't know what you just did. So that everyone is on the same page. This is what I know about Homestuck. There are some trolls in it. I think that they are kind of gray with colorful horns. And there is apparently a character somewhere in it named Vriska. And that is the limits of my knowledge. I think it was a webcomic, but I'm not actually sure about that.
All right.
To start us off, Patrick, why don't you, as briefly as possible, tell us what Homestuck is?
All right. I'm putting 1 minute on the clock.
Okay, good.
All right.
Classic 1 minute timer that we love on this show.
I hate it.
1 minute on the clock, starting now. Okay, so Homestuck is a webcomic created by Andrew Hussey that ran from 2009 to 2016. Besides static images and text, it also included music, flash animations, and flash games. It was very long, more than 800,000 words, 4 hours of video, I think like 603 music tracks. A huge team who worked on it while Andrew Hussey was the main author and writer. There was a lot of other contributions, most famously Toby Fox, known for Undertale and Deltarune, was involved in the Homestuck music team, and a lot of the really well-known songs. Toby had a hand in Opa Toby Style being one that was in S Collide, which is one of the big end-of-act things. But the general plot is 4 kids start playing a computer game, which inadvertently leads to mass destruction and chaos on a multi-universal scale. It goes into all sorts of different things about what it means to be a kid and growing up, and multi timelines and multiverses and all sorts of neat things. And it has a lot of guys in it.
Ding.
All right.
I told you 1 minute.
Pretty good.
You are very
honestly.
good at this.
We hired an expert, I think.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We're not paying you. Hired is misleading. Why don't you have a Homestuck OCs, I am led to understand.
That is true. But in true Homestuck fashion, before I want to talk about Homestuck, I want to go on a brief intermission.
Let's go.
Okay.
So Homestuck, so this is a related intermission, but an intermission nonetheless. Homestuck was part of So Homestuck was the 4th MS Paint adventure that Andrew Hussey wrote, which is an important distinction because all of these at least started out with having a lot of user input. Basically, Andrew would put out however many pages, and it would end with just a prompt of what do you do next, basically. which I think was really interesting. There's some other things that have done it. Ruby Quest is the one that immediately comes to mind, if anyone's read that, which is good. But the other thing is it was the MSPA forum, which I mentioned briefly before. And there were these things called forum adventures, which were very popular. And basically, there would be like a thread and someone would start a story, and people would interact with that story and make suggestions and all that sort of thing. Homestuck originally was like this. I think it was sometime in Act 3 that it became fully written by Andrew Hussey without any of these inputs. But it was a really neat way of storytelling. It's really interesting, and I want to mention that as far as character creation. Because for a lot of characters, such as basically all of them in Homestuck, at least at the start, their names were chosen by forum users. So basically, we would have an introductory page, saying, hey, who's this person? And someone in the forums would say, hey, this person should be named John Egbert. And that's how John Egbert was named. So it goes beyond just naming, though, in that because you're having the audience offer prompts that actually can really affect how the character develops as a character.
Yeah, for sure.
So to go back to Ruby Quest for a moment, which is another really good fan adventure thing that I would highly recommend looking up. Ruby as a character gets this, I'm trying to figure out how to properly explain this, but basically, while Ruby starts as a very blank slate character, there are certain characteristics that come up time and time again because early in the story, someone had an input about her being very bashful. And that became a core character trait of this character. And it wouldn't have happened if, whoever was in the thread didn't say, oh, she should act like this in this situation. So I like to refer to this as design by committee. And I bring it up specifically because one of my OCs is directly stolen from an old forum adventure that I participated in.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it really is kind of like role-playing almost on a very large scale. There is the fact that the author still sort of ultimately decides what happens in the story, but yeah, the player prompts I know play a huge part in it.
Yes. So the one sad thing I'll mention as part of this story is, in I think 2013, the MSPA forums went down permanently. A lot of the stuff from them is lost, and by a lot of it, I mean most of it. But this was a character from a forum adventure that I can't think of the name of, but the general idea was that there was this big black tower that went all the way up into the sky that adventurers would go into and explore. And this is Elysian, who I'm posting in the guest chat.
Oh, hell yeah.
Who was the main character.
Look at that guy and their fucking magical arm sleeve.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a shoulder-length glove or a fucked up arm?
That's a fucked up arm.
Hell yeah. Love a fucked up arm.
Is that rock arm or...
Yep.
Okay, rock arm with
fucked
lightning.
Up magic rock arm. Yeah. Magic rock arm.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so she was introduced in this forum adventure, and a couple people provided prompts on, okay, what exactly was her, skill set, what was her profession, all that sort of thing. And I was one of the people in this thread, and I said she was a shadow dancer, which was, does cool shadow magic, basically. And there was another prompt. I can't think of what the other prompt was. I'm just going to say it was a thief for the sake of simplicity. But then the author took those two prompts and kind of combined them and basically wrote this little story about how she had been a shadow dancer. There was an incident involving the stuff that comes out of the Black Tower where she lost her arm. Because of that, she has her cool rock arm and had to leave the shadow dancers and just become a thief. And that is, it's not what I had intended. It's not what this other person had said in the prompt had intended. But then the author took both of them and combined them in a really interesting way. So it's just a really interesting way of collaborative character creation and storytelling that I enjoy a lot.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the other. I know there was a bear, there was a bear warrior. There was I think a stone angel. and a like ruin crafter. And I can't remember what the fourth person was, but I know there were 5 people in the party. And I know there's an image somewhere of this party that I cannot find for the life of me. I could have sworn I saved it before the MSPA forums went down, but I have never been able to find it. Anyway, so I think the point is, it's a really cool way of making characters.
Yeah, definitely. The thing that kind of the thing that that calls to mind first for me is like what I'm planning on doing when we eventually do our God Eater campaign in the Grey Pollen setting, because like session 0 for that game, I want to play the game oh, what the fuck is it called? Did somebody say Street Magic? And yeah, that one, like, it's a collaborative game where players like both create like a city and the locations in that city, and like also the characters you might find like in those particular locations. So yeah, not only is it like that sort of, yeah, and like each player can like, you know, add different qualities to the things that have been established or like make up new things. And it seems like a very, very neat system that I would love to try. And yeah, like I love that idea of like coming up with characters collaboratively and like having this sort of shared authorship.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's just really, me holding up the MSPA forums, I just think they're neat.
Yeah.
So then, with that, we return at end of intermission 1.
Great.
The green curtains close.
Yeah, we're done with these billiard motherfuckers. Get them out of here.
Okay.
Until they invariably come back, you know.
Yeah, they always come back. How can you expect to outrun the billiard motherfuckers when they are already here? For anyone, this is going to be a great episode for anyone who knows about Homestuck, because there's going to be all these nice little fun references I'm putting in that people can point at the screen and say, I know that one.
I read Homestuck, but it was some years ago, and it is a big, long comic, and not a lot of it has stuck to my brain.
So I guess, sorry, should I explain exactly what Homestuck is? I know I kind of talked about that.
No. All right. Yes.
So okay.
I was about to say yes.
Okay. So basically, it's a long story.
It's very long, and it's very complicated. Some would say unnecessarily so. Some would say complicated to the point where it diminishes the reading experience.
I wouldn't go that far.
I would.
Okay. But no, so I could talk about all the different aspects of Homestuck for hours, days. I took a look. So I'm on my Tumblr page, shadowsandbag.tumblr.com. I tag basically all my posts with fandom stuff, and I'm just very organized on that, which I bring up for a reason, which is according to this, my blog has 858 pages total of posts. How many pages are tagged Homestuck?
Ooh.
More than half?
Here's the thing, you can trace a lot of things back to Homestuck. You can point at a lot of things and say that's like Homestuck. You could put a Homestuck tag on...
So I should know, this tag is primarily for stuff that is actually Homestuck.
Okay. Ooh, maybe I'm thinking in the range of like upper 200s. Let's say like 270.
So you actually both went high. It's actually only about 215.
Okay.
Which is still, a quarter of my blog, and also doesn't include like there was a decent stretch of time where I didn't tag everything. Point is, Homestuck's good, and I like it, and I know a lot about it.
Homestuck sure is something.
Yeah, good. I just said that.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And there's a lot of interesting stuff that goes on. And there's, like I said, there's so much I could talk about, but I think I want to focus on a specific aspect today, and let's talk about trolls and troll sonas.
Let's go.
Okay.
It was inevitable. Here we go.
How could you expect to escape the troll sonas when they're already here?
We can't. It's impossible.
You can't fight the Homestuck is the thing.
I'm already covered in gray Sharpie.
Yeah. So trolls. The trolls first come up in Act 3 of Homestuck, and they are they basically send the four main characters, the kids, messages over PesterChum, which is like Skype, but not. And they're just referred to as the trolls. We don't learn too much about them. We learn a bit more over time, but then finally in Act 5, we completely skip away from the human characters that we've been following to this point and focus entirely on the trolls for a while. The trolls are an alien species that lives on a planet called Alternia. They have gray skin and horns that are orange, yellow, and red. And they just have a really neat society. It's good, and nothing bad happens in it.
Yeah, definitely no one has a mom who is a spider and you have to feed people to the spider.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely nothing like that happens. I think I'm remembering that right.
That's correct.
You saying that suggests that happens.
Yes. So there's a lot of interesting stuff about trolls, and I'm going to try to quickly go over the things that I can immediately think of. So first, the naming schema. All trolls have a 6-letter first name and a 6-letter last name. There are, as far as I can think of, no exceptions to this. You have 6-letter first name, 6-letter last name. So like Karkat Vantis, or Neptalajon, or Feferi Pexes. Those don't all sound like 6-letter first name, last name, because they all are pronounced weird. Just trust me. As mentioned, so they don't have moms or dads. They have Luci, or Lucis is the singular, which are basically weird monster beast creatures that raise trolls because there are no adult trolls on Alternia. All the adults have to leave. They have to get out of there.
Yeah, planet full of teenagers. I'd wanna bounce too.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's not any adults. Basically, trolls are... The other thing is trolls are very insect-like in a lot of ways. And one of the big ways is that they are the mother... So trolls don't have traditional parents. Basically, all of the trolls contribute genetic slurry, which is then fed to the mother grub, and then the mother grub spits out a bunch of eggs. Don't ask too much about the genetic slurry. Just don't worry about it.
I'm not going to. I definitely won't.
The other really interesting thing is the hemospectrum. So basically, all trolls have one of 12 asterisk blood colors. These are divided into... So these blood colors form both their... it's their physical blood, but also reflects the caste system of Alternia, where basically the lower your blood color, the worse off you are, not just in society, but also literally physically. So the lower your blood color, like just the shorter your lifespan is expected to be. So in order, there's rust, bronze, gold, olive, jade, teal, blue, indigo, purple, violet, and fuchsia. And you might say, hey, Patrick, that's 11. That's a different number.
I would say that.
And that's because of lime. Yeah. And that's because of lime bloods, which are interesting and a whole nother mess. But the short version is there is a 12th caste that is not brought up too much in the comic, but definitely exists. We never learn too much about them, except that they are totally extinct. They have been wiped out for reasons unknown.
Fucked up.
Fucked up indeed. They belong between gold and olive bloods, however. The other reason I put the asterisk there is because one of the main trolls, Karkat, has what is usually called candy red blood, the same color as humans have. This is because he's a mutant, and which, as you can guess, is not good, and has all sorts of problems related to it. But back to Alternian society. It's very violent. It's very rigid based on the caste system. Like I said, there's no adults on Alternia. They are all in space doing space conquest stuff. And at a certain age, I can't remember the exact age offhand, but basically at a certain point, once you reach a certain age on Alternia, it's just, well, you get to leave the planet forever now. Bye.
Thank God. I would hate to live there.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, you graduate high school, and instead of leaving your small town, you just fuck off to a distant star.
Mm-hmm. And the good news is that, statistically speaking, you're going to have a good time when you go off planet.
Is this real or sarcasm?
That's sarcasm. Because remember how I mentioned the caste system earlier?
Uh-huh.
So Rust Bloods both is so the low bloods, which are usually Rust, Bronze, and Gold, are basically slave castes to some capacity or another. Most Gold Bloods become basically batteries for giant spaceships after they leave. Rust Bloods and Bronze Bloods are basically just used like cannon fodder. The whole system's kind of fucked, and the higher you get on the hemo spectrum, the more rare people are. So, for example, for fuchsias, there is actually only ever 2 at a time, the highest. There's only ever the Empress and the Heiress. Those are the only 2 fuchsia bloods that ever exist at a time, and then one gets to kill the other. It's a great society.
Pretty normal one, it sounds like.
Pretty normal one.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm assuming people are, like, very normal about this caste system when they make up their OCs. I'm assuming no one has ever, like, made something despicable and problematic, just not putting any critical thought into it.
No, people are good. Everyone's good. There's no
especially,
problems.
Especially all the teenagers reading Homestuck. I'm sure they're great with it.
Yeah. You're right. So the one other thing I want to say about the hemo spectrum is that they also generally have different roles. So within the cast, they have different roles in society, but also some have different powers. So Rust Bloods, despite being physically the weakest, often have some sort of telekinesis. Then Bronze Bloods usually have a lot of animal communion powers. Gold Bloods have psionics, which is why they're used as those batteries mentioned. Then we get to the Mid Bloods. Olives don't really have anything special. Jade Bloods are interesting. They are an all-female caste, and they're the second rarest after Fuchsia Bloods, and their whole role is to stay in the brooding caverns and take care of the mother grub. So basically, their entire caste system is just to hatch and raise more trolls. The Teals are usually civil service, which is a really funny caste to have in this society. To just have an entire society, like an entire cast of your society dedicated to civil service in this horrible, horrible place.
Yeah, I bet they're allowed to do a great job. I bet they have like a really good support system for like helping people make their lives better. I bet there's some great infrastructure they're working with there.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. There's a specifically a line somewhere in Homestuck about how exactly the prosecution works.
Oh boy.
In trials, and it's really good. That's not the most fun though. So then we get to Blue Bloods, which are pretty common to have mind control powers, and also usually have cool eye stuff going on. Either having, multiple eyes or multiple pupils in one eye or that sort of thing. Indigo Bloods, just regular people. Purple Bloods. How do you feel about Juggalos?
Oh boy.
Do you want me to go on this tangent?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. ICP, I think their music is fucking awful, and I can derive basically no enjoyment from it. On the other hand, though, they are also strangely wholesome, and I will absolutely support a juggalo.
Yeah. That's a good... I agree. I think Violent J, pretty cool guy, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Quick side note, Violent J and who's the other one?
I want to say Shaggy 2 Dope, but that
Yes.
can't possibly
No,
be right.
that's Violent. Yeah, correct. Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope within Homestuck become the dual presidents of the United States, and I believe 2024.
The way things are going, I can see that happening.
Anyway, so the reason I bring it up is because the purple cast is entirely juggalos.
Great.
Okay.
They are also very religious. There's the mirthful messiahs. There's the dark carnival. Juggalos, they're just troll juggalos.
Yeah.
Then we get to the sea dwellers. Fuchsia's I already mentioned. And then so there's violets and fuchsia. Fuchsia I already mentioned. And the thing about them are they are both sea dwellers, and they can live on both land and sea, but they have gills and stuff. So that's the casts at a glance. All
right. So that's a lot of context. Do we have enough context to start talking about some characters?
Yes.
I want you to know that I will retain maybe about 3% of what you just said. That's a lot.
That's totally fine, because we're gonna do a fun activity together. And there's more I could talk about is the fucked up thing. Didn't even get started on the extended Zodiac.
Retaining 3% of Homestuck is still a hell of a lot of comic to retain.
Yeah, I said it's 800,000 words, so what's 3%?
It's big long.
Yeah.
So, let me tell you about Avilo Retic, my good troll OC.
Let's go.
He is a teal blood. He is 9 sweeps old, which is, I think a sweep is about 2.5 human years, somewhere around there. I don't remember the exact. I think it might be like 2.4 or something. We're just going to round it up to 2.5. But yeah, he is so he is about 22 human years, and I probably made him while I was in college because I'm normal.
Okay.
I do like his sleepy bitch eyes. I always do appreciate to see those on a character.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of looking at his bio real quick. His Lucis is Eagle Mom, so just a big eagle. I'm not going to talk about Strife Cespis or Silodex Modus yet. Maybe later. All you have to know is Strife Specibus is Umbrella Kind and Card Kind, which is the 2 types of weapons he uses, and Silodex is his inventory system. Because everyone in Homestuck has their own special inventory system, which is good. The other fun thing that I wanted to save is that all the trolls in Homestuck, and all the human non-troll characters as well, actually have a way of typing known as their quirk. So there are some of the easier ones there's a character who just speaks in all caps. There's a character who speaks in all caps except the first letter of every word is lowercase. There's a character who capitalizes each word. Those are the easy ones. Then there's stuff like the one I just posted, which is my troll's troll quirk. Which is basically, instead of typing the letter H, I do 2 brackets back to back. No, they wouldn't. What are they? They're not brackets. They're like the curly brackets. Yeah. The H is 2 curly brackets, I is 2 regular brackets, and V is a backslash and forward slash. So every single troll in Homestuck, and within the extended Homestuck universe, has a quirk of this nature.
It gets very annoying to read, I gotta tell you.
I disagree, except Matuna. Matuna can fuck off, because Matuna talks in basically actual Leet speak, not like the cool kind. There's, some characters who talk in like slight leet speak. No, the Mituna just talks in like full leet speak, and it's awful. But yeah, so this is a character that I have basically not touched since I made him because it's preserved in amber.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely like not the. This is not my observation. I heard this from somewhere. I fucking forget where. I wish I could point to a source, but I heard that the one of the appealing things about making a troll sona is that, there is sort of this like template that you can kind of fill in. Like you have like their blood type, their horn shape, like their name, their typing quirk, and all of these things like have sort of certain rules. So you can kind of just kind of fill in the blanks on a lot of these and have like a fully formed troll character ready to go.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's a good way of putting it, is it's kind of a template. And there's more to it that I haven't talked about, like their god tier title and their land, which I might get into later depending on how we're at on time.
Yeah. Homestuck has like a lot of categories that characters go in is the thing.
Yeah, it's very good in that way. And you can just put these characters in all these different types of boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that so I should note this is my troll OC, not a troll sona. There's a very important distinction. Does anyone want to guess what it is?
Troll sona is I'm imagining that would be like a troll that represents you as a person, kind of like a fursona, and then a troll OC is just like a character you make up that isn't necessarily representative of yourself.
Basically, yep. Another fun fact, some of the characters in Homestuck actually make troll sonas.
That's true, that does happen.
Troll sona is a term that specifically comes up, and I can think of 3 different characters offhand who distinctly make troll sonas.
Incredible.
But yeah, so this is my troll OC, not my troll sona, because he is different from me, definitely. Not just me projecting that he's not just me saying this is a character that's different from me, so I don't have to, self-examination is for losers, isn't the thing?
Yeah, I find that to be true.
Oh no!
No, that's not true at all. I really just put my whole brain mess into a character when I make them, and I look at them and I'm like, oh, my brain is a mess.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not something you can say to us. we both got the brain disease.
Yeah, brain disease, yeah. So Ivalo doesn't have any special powers of any kind. He is a teal blood, which usually has less. It's not one of the casts that is regularly shown to have certain powers. He is quickly angered by incompetence, can be short-sighted, enjoys board, card, and dice games, puzzles, mysteries, and hates being unable to prove an argument. Even more so than just outright losing one.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I can't relate. Can't relate to this character.
So here's the question now: are Izzy and I gonna be able to make it out of this podcast without having to come up with without coming up with troll OCs of our own?
We better, cause I ain't doing it.
Here's the Sophie's choice you have.
Uh-huh.
You either get to make troll sonas, or I get to describe the plot of Homestuck for an additional half hour or so.
All right.
I choose
troll
the latter.
It is. God damn it, Izzy. Izzy, this is about original characters, not the plot of Homestuck.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, you gotta make the OC.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want my troll to be like a real special boy. I've already forgotten what all the blood types are, but I kind of want them to have one blood type on half of their body and one blood type on the other half. Don't ask how it works. Heterochromia, but for blood.
Here's the great thing. What if I told you there was an entire cast of troll society, an entire blood type that was basically all dedicated to bifurcation?
Shut the fuck up! No, you say that and I'm not even surprised. Put heterochromia in the blood. Why the fuck not?
Do they have one heart or two?
I think usually one heart. One blood pusher, I think are what they're called. I should have gotten up the list of troll terms for biology, because there's a good bit in Homestuck where basically, I'm trying to think of this. There's a specific example used with a refrigerator where basically higher blood tiers will call something a fridge or a refrigerator, and lower blood tiers will refer to it as like the I'm trying to think exactly what it's called. The thermal hull.
Great.
And it's just a good bit where basically the words that we humans use for these things are essentially the troll equivalent of saying just the fanciest shit instead of just calling it what it's actually called. It's a good bit. But before we can get into really, there's one important thing I left out about troll society. Which I really wanted to save because it's just such an important part of troll society, really, and such an important part of Homestuck in general, and one of the reasons I think Homestuck became as popular as it did. So here's the thing. The problem is that when the subject of troll romance is broached, our sparing human intellects kind of instantly assume the most integrating posture of surrender imaginable, but we'll do our best to understand regardless. See, humans have only one form of romance, and though we consider it a complicated subject spanning a wide range of emotions, social conventions, and implications for reproduction, it is ultimately a superficial slice of what trolls consider the full body of romantic experience.
Okay, pause.
Our concept of yes?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna warn you ahead of time. I may or may not understand what romance is, because I'm still confused.
All right. Well, good news.
I mean, as from a human perspective, so let's go.
Here's the damn thing about troll romance. Like, as like an Arrow Ace person myself, I kind of like the theory of like kind of expanding out what can qualify as like romantic feelings, even, because like like once you get into A-spec territory, like the definitions of things become like a lot hazier and more subject to like interpretation and like individual expression and things like that. And like, fucking far be it from me to criticize anyone who makes up a fantasy version of queer platonic relationships, because that's what I did for halflings. But also troll romance still makes me shake my damn head.
So sorry, what I was saying is our concept of romance, in spite of its
please continue.
And literature, and to rule our individual destinies. Like,
for anyone who didn't know about this previously, now you have to live with it.
My brain only holds so much.
The thing is, it's still just that, a single linear concept, a concept usually denoted by a single symbol, a heart. Troll romance is more complicated than that. Troll romance needs 4 symbols. I'm not going to read the rest of the troll romance, whatever you want to call it, paragraphs upon paragraphs of text. I'm not going to do that to you. I could, but I won't. I'll just summarize. basically, so there are 4 aspects of troll romance, 4 quadrants. There is there's 2 red romances, 2 black romances, 2 conciliatory romances, and 2 consumption romances. I'm probably mispronouncing some of those wrong. The point is, there's 4 quadrants. The flesh quadrant, which is the heart, is like human romance. We know that. We know that well enough to skip over it. The Caligulous quadrant is also known as black rom, is when 2 people hate each. So when a mommy and a daddy hate each other very, very much, they become kismesises, and it's basically, it's best described as like a potent arch rivalry. But it's basically just 2 people who fucking hate each other, but in a way that is not toxic. It's good.
Whatever that means.
The action quadrant is the only one that has 3 people in it. And the action quadrant is basically when there's 2 people who are too toxic to be together, and a third person steps in and says, yeah, no, I need to mediate this and stop it from getting worse. And that brings us to the pale quadrant, which is my favorite, which is Moira Allegiance. And it's
fantasy
kind of
QPRs.
Yeah, it's soulmate, but in a more platonic sense, with a more specific social purpose, which is basically that trolls are very violent by nature. Some trolls are much stronger than others. There's a lot of caste problems. And Moira Allegiance is about 2 trolls being best friends and soulmates, platonic, and keeping each other safe. It's good. My 2 special guys, my 2 Blorbos, Equius and Nepeta, are Moirails.
Equius as a special little Blorbo. That's a challenging one.
I didn't come on this podcast to defend why Equius is my little Blorbo.
This is all going over my head.
I was about to say, if you want to defend anyone despicable, it should be Vriska, but we can't. We've been recording for so long, we can't talk about Vriska.
My goal was to go this entire podcast without mentioning Vriska. I know it got brought up very, very much in the intro of I know who Vriska is, but I was hoping we could get through the podcast without.
I don't know who Vriska is. I just have heard people say the name.
Yeah. You don't know who Vriska is. You know that Vriska exists.
Yeah.
Vriska did a lot of things wrong, but we're not here to talk about Vriska.
Here's the thing. Many would say that Vriska did nothing wrong.
And they would be incorrect to do so.
I don't really have too much of an opinion about Vriska. I just think it's funny to say that she did nothing wrong.
That being said, speaking about Vriska, that does actually remind me of an important part of troll culture that I didn't mention earlier. Murder is okay.
Yeah.
Especially if if it's a lower caste person, yeah, absolutely, murder is okay. So many people, murder is just a regular part of so many trolls' lives. It's great. Hey, fun fact. Who of the 12 main trolls in Homestuck, do you know that there's only one that never tries to kill anyone?
Is it Karkat?
Nope.
I forget.
It's my special Lorvo Equius.
That sounds wrong.
Nope, it's correct. You can check. Equius is the only troll who never tries to kill anyone.
Good for him?
Yeah. He's a good boy.
Anyway,
to go back, now that I've finished my second intermission.
Anyway, let's make up 2 goddamn troll sonas in the next 5 minutes so we can wrap this fucking podcast.
How about I observe and ask questions? Because I have no idea.
All right.
Even though it's apparently completely unoriginal, I do want to stick with my idea of giving my guy heterophobia, but for blood. So I think they're gonna be half bronze, half purple, so that they have animal communion and are a juggalo. They've got the juggalo paint on half of their face, naturally. And I think they have, like, probably... What would be a funny animal companion for a juggalo to have?
This one's easy for me, possum.
Possum would be pretty funny.
Well, for similar reasons as to why I picked possum on a previous episode.
I kind of want to say that their animal companion is like a kitsune, and they just call it a kitsune even though it's a fox. Just call it a fox instead of being like that about it. And obviously the fox is also wearing juggalo face paint. And
oh, that's cute.
Now, is the fox wearing full juggalo face paint or also half juggalo face paint?
I think it's full juggalo face paint.
All right.
And I think their typing quirk is they bracket every sentence. They start and end it with a like a little fox emoticon. And I think anytime like they can make an animal pun in a word, they do it, and they always capitalize the part of the word that is the pun. So you know that they're emphasizing it.
Yeah. Now, for the fox emoticon, are you thinking like an emoji or like a little like text? Like
yeah. Let me quick type what I'm thinking here.
All right.
Let's see. Equals. I think I'm gonna go equals caret v caret equals. I think that's what we're looking at here.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good is the thing.
Yeah.
I think that's the one.
No, I was off trying to look up what animal Violet J's persona was. Apparently it is a wolf.
Yeah.
Wolf is pretty good.
Well, he has a fursuit, and I couldn't tell what animal it was, because in the translation to fursuit, canids just kind of look the same.
A lot of furry designs do just look like a cartoon animal, parentheses, generic. And that's fine, that's valid.
But yeah, speaking of valid, what is your valid troll name?
God, that's a good question. For some reason, the word corpus springs to mind as like a first or last name. Hatchet Corpus, that's their fucking name.
Wonderful.
Ah, fuck. Hatchet is 7. Hatchet is 7, god damn it.
I was gonna say, what letter are you removing from Hatchet to make it 6 letters? Because you can just do that.
No, I want to do it right, is the thing. Let's see. Corpus Xing.
All right.
Yeah, I think that works. I'm not sure. Xing probably has the E in it, right?
I mean, you can put the E in it.
Yeah.
It's your choice.
If any fucking dictionaries come after me.
However, if you are corpus axing, you will be arrested.
Yeah, listen. That's my half juggalo persona. Juggalos can't be arrested for anything.
Oh, no. I mean people in general. If you start hacking up bodies, you will probably get arrested for that.
Fair. All right, Izzy. I've done mine. Are you feeling ready? Do you feel up to it?
Oh,
No,
we're not done yet. We
no.
got so much more to do.
Yeah, you're not done. Also, I do not know WTF about any of this. So I'm just over here lost and not knowing anything about what's going on.
Patrick, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not gonna sit here and learn about class specs.
I wasn't gonna even go into class specs, even though I want to. Authors know. Basically, within Homestuck, you have a special class and aspect, often referred to as a class spec. There are 12 classes, 12 aspects that can be mixed and matched in any way. Technically, there's also Technically, there's 14 classes, but 2 of them are special edge cases. But no, you do still need your your troll handle.
Oh, does that have a particular rule about how it has to be?
Generally, it's just 2 words. Usually, the more esoteric the words, the better.
Right. Oh, I know there is the convention of every word starting with ACTG, probably.
Kind of. So that is true for the main cast, but it is broken within the extended cast, and it's really just more of a quirk of those of those specific group of characters.
All right. Give me some time to ponder this one. I want Izzy to go.
Oh, no, I have a question. Since it's those 4 letters, is this because of DNA and Y?
Probably. I don't know.
Yes, and the answer is yes. And how much time do we have?
Not a lot. We're already going a little bit over.
Yeah, we're about at time.
Yeah, I need Izzy to slap together a fucking troll really quick.
No. You know how I am. I
believe in you is the thing.
I want to do like big meaningful things, and I have to know what the fuck before I can do that. So I'm just like,
Izzy, can I ask you to be a little
I'm too lost.
Can I ask you to be a little spontaneous here? Can I ask you to just make some choices without knowing their significance?
Then I'm just gonna roll a die.
All right, you know what? That works for me.
Fuck yeah, that's valid.
So what am I having to choose?
First, 1d12, 1d11 for a blood color.
Is there any...
Dice did not respond.
Is there any stupid blood bullshit besides candy red and heterophobia that Izzy should be aware of?
I'm stepping away from the computer and mic for a second. Be right back.
The short answer is no, not really. Yeah, like I said, really the only other exceptions to the line. But did you come up with a troll handle?
I have returned with math rocks.
I don't know. I gotta think about it. I can't call to mind any of the canonical characters' handles, is the thing.
So in order, Apocalypse Arisen, then Adios Toreador, next is Solix, who is... Come on, it's been too long. Can't think of Solix's offhand. That's unfortunate. I used to know all these. But next is Carcinogenesis, Arsenic Catnip, Grim Alexatrix, Gallows Calibrator, Arachnid's Grip, Centaur's Testicle. What is Gamzee's? Sorry. Those are some of them. Guarding Gnostic, Turntech Godhead, Temestus Testified.
I want to make a fake suggestion.
I think I got one. I think I'm going to go with Amicable Canonae.
All right, pretty good.
I was going to say Body Spray.
Shut up.
Okay, 5.
All right, so it looks like you got a Jade Blood. Nice. 5 would be a Jade Blood.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty good race that you rolled there.
It's not a race, it's a caste. Important difference.
Okay.
What is your Jade Blood's name? 6-letter first name, 6-letter last name.
Oh God.
Well, here's the thing. Because we're a little over time, I'm not gonna force it out of you. I'm gonna be polite.
Yeah.
But
we don't have to fill in all the boxes. Just
don't
come
have
up
to
with
fill in
like
all
a
the
general. Yeah, just come up with some general bullshit for this guy.
A name, a weapon, their username.
Oh, my character's weapon is definitely like fucking like gauntlets with Wolverine claws on them.
Oh, just like it says, yeah, claw kind, just like Nepeta.
Great. Oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing, but yeah, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
Their name will be Raisin Down Low.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good shit.
No W at the end.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else about Raisin?
No.
Do they play the saxophone like a California raisin?
I'm answering questions at this point.
Okay. What is their Lucius? What type of animal raised them?
What type of animal raised them? One of those wrinkly goblin cats.
Sphinx. Good choice.
Yes.
What sort of weapons do you use?
Um,
Something stupid that came to mind is just like a megaphone that shoots big sound waves.
Oh, I was going for something like bladed boots.
Ooh, boot knife.
Ooh, yeah. Blade boot kind. Yeah, and do you have a username in mind? Any ideas for a username or a typing quirk?
Are there rules to this?
Not really. Just rules for username are, like I said, 2 words. Typing quirk is basically however your typing is distinct from other people's typing.
Yeah, if you wanted to text as annoyingly as possible, how would you do it?
I do not have any ideas for this.
Mm-hmm.
Hand clap emoji between every word.
Oh God, I would hate that.
Pretty good. But yeah, what about a username?
2 words, right?
Mm-hmm. 2 words.
I want to say something like Grapish Overseer.
Oh, I was gonna say, you're coming in with suggestions like a split second before me.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Hotel upload.
I see.
I have a logic to this that I do not want to reveal.
That is totally fine. So there's a lot more we could do with like your class spec, your land, your Moirail, all your different troll romances. But I have some important good news to say though.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. Your fan trolls are now canon.
That's right.
All fan trolls are canon.
We fucking did it, gamers. We're in the big leagues now.
You have canon Homestuck, not to be confused with the canon fan trolls, which is a distinction given to 3 specific ones.
Okay,
but your fan trolls are canon.
After last week, now I feel like I have been played the fool by coming on here today.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that we invented the main characters of Homestuck, the 3 of us.
Mm-hmm. We made canon fan trolls.
Yes, the best thing is I'm the one that knows what happened last episode, and y'all don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. I haven't listened to that one yet. I'm not sure if I'm editing that one or not. Who could say? I'd have to look at the spreadsheet.
You are not.
Okay. I'll have to.
I think you are editing this one.
Fair enough, and I'm gonna have a great time doing it.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna get to learn all about Homestuck again.
Yep.
All about Trollsonas and OCs.
Patrick, where can we find you?
You can find me in the Meteor in the middle of Alternia, because that's where I'm going to hide in my shame.
Great. Anything to plug?
Yeah, you can find me at warmshadegames.itch.io. I do some games. I make some games there. I just finished a November game dev challenge and made a game called To Be a Master, which is a solo journaling RPG about going through a world full of strange and powerful creatures like Pokemon or Digimon or any of those other sort of monster collection genre things.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of my big thing to plug. We should read Homestuck if you haven't. It's pretty good. Song of the summer.
Yeah, read Homestuck in the last month of 2023. That's your homework for this podcast.
No.
That's the correct response.
Mm-hmm.
Don't never do your homework, folks. It's a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm on for Affinity with the username Space Robot. You can go there and look at my gallery. You can get in touch with me about a commission if you want me to draw any of your guys. Just hit me up on Discord or spacerobotart@gmail.com. Also on the podcast We Rate Queerbait, which is a very funny and good podcast. We just released our episode on Land of the Lustrous, which was a pretty good one, in my opinion. We contemplated immortality and the idea of living forever with our funny little friend Foss, who can speak to snails because they got eaten by a snail one time. That's a pretty good comic and a pretty good podcast episode about the comic. Also I'm on an upcoming audio drama. Details forthcoming. Izzy?
Okay. Patrick,
Mm-hmm.
you're my friend.
Mm-hmm. I put you through this anyway.
That's why I have been subjected to this day. Hey.
Warned you about Homestuck, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it keeps happening.
Yeah, so here's the thing. If you want to be Patrick's friend or my friend, maybe come by the Discord that's in the show notes. That's where you can find me. I ain't anywhere else.
I gotta say, there's a lot of homies on that Discord server. A lot of people that I love to hang out with.
Yeah.
And would you say that they can't leave? So they're kind of... Would you say that they're like... These homies are like stuck on the server?
Hotel California rules?
Some sort of homie stuck?
Mm-hmm.
That depends on how addicted to your phone you are.
Yeah.
Read a book,
Yeah.
Zoomers.
Well, good news. You can buy Homestuck volumes.
God damn
1,
it.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there are currently 6 of the main volumes. There's also the epilogue that you can buy in book form, plus Paradox Space book 1 and book 2.
Yeah, actually don't read a book. That was a bad idea.
Guys, we're stuck here until you let me go through my plugs.
Yeah, sorry, finish your plug.
Izzy, what are your plugs?
So, come to this Discord, except maybe don't after hearing this. On Mondays, we do a group watch. Right now, it's Big Aguma Mondays. On Fridays, Emery does an art stream most of the time. I sometimes stream video games. We're just... It's fun. You can ask us questions. You can show us your guys. There's all sorts of stuff here. You can also find the podcast social media on co-host and Tumblr. Check out this guy. We made it real easy for you. If you can know the name of the podcast, you can find the social media. And this is a part of the noisepace.xyz.
XYZ.
Uh-oh, I'm gonna be shot now. XYZ.
Yeah, you're
Network.
you're gonna be executed by firing squad by the Canadian Mounties.
You're
Uh-huh.
going to be executed, Y-secuted, and Z-secuted.
Uh-huh. So yeah, it's a good network with a lot of good shows. Yeah, and people were going wild this week because this is the week where Henry Kissinger died.
Thank fucking God.
I don't think Henry Kissinger comes up in Homes.
Good.
Good.
I'd have to confirm on the Skynet archive.
Mm-hmm.
Have we ever talked about Henry Kissinger's Pokemon going to die on this show? Probably not, because it's not active, but that is kind of one of the flagship podcasts of Noise Space.
Yeah.
It's like a politics internet show of, and it's not a threat, it's just a fact.
Mhm.
And it came true.
Yeah.
Henry Kissinger, Pokemon died.
I would argue that it is no longer a fact.
Yeah. All right. Until next time, fucking, what's a Homestuck thing I could say to do until next time?
I don't know. The only thing I actually remember out of this entire episode is there are 12 asterisk blood types.
Yeah, no, this whole thing is garbage. You can scrap this.
Okay, deleting the podcast recording now. Goodbye, folks.
Until next time, it keeps happening.
It keeps fucking happening. Bye-bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Goodbye.